Hi everyone, from me, Brent Graham, a Thursday night, 9 o'clock time for the Handicap Rugby Chat that matters. And what a massive show we've got ahead. But first, an announcement. Welcome back to Manscaped, who've come on board with sponsors. After flying me over to America for final negotiations, we finally signed on the bottom line. The boys are back, and I'll certainly be asking the conductor a little bit later in the show how things are going on over there. But anyway, good to have them on board. If you can support us, please do. You'll see their link is down below. And I know the likes of Dave Cooney used it last time, and I'll just put that up there. The code is GFTG, and then you can get 20% off all shipping and stuff there as well. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's welcome the guest. I'm going to start at the top of my show. Dare I say he's looking a little bit more clean cut than I've seen him in quite a while. And it's at the Crow Tips, Chris Rowe. Chris, good to see you, mate.
Good to see you, Brent. Yeah, good to be back. Looking forward to another packed show. Got to keep up with the good form of the weekly newsletter that you've been having. So no pressure tonight, right?
Yeah, well, that's it. I must say the form has certainly turned around nicely. I mean, I'll mention it later in the show as well. We're chasing our fourth successive ACCA at over 10-1. And I mean, full credit to you boys on the show, because when I do the ACCA, all I do is I sort of try and take the ones that the lads are the more confident on. So, yeah, and we've also hit a couple of best bets in a row because I was on a absolutely torrid run. And stepping back into the breach after a couple of weeks off, it's the conductor. Conductor, how you doing, man? What, you got a towel full handy there tonight?
Absolutely, Brenty. So it's always close at hand. No, thanks, Brenty. Lucky to join you and Chris on a Thursday night, and yeah, good to be back. Coming off a really nice weekend, but I must admit, I actually wanted to pull a sickie for this show because to try and follow up from last week is just next to impossible. Chad, Henrik, and Neil were just absolutely on fire, cheesy, and they called it absolutely brilliantly. So. Yeah, I was able to follow on a lot of their bets and do well on the weekend. The only blip was actually my own input was the Edinburgh game, and I just couldn't believe what happened there. 24 points in Joburg between two very positive sides, and very, very disappointing there. So, but yeah, no, as Chris says, absolutely pumped. It's a bumper weekend of rugby, Women's Six Nations, URC. Champions Cup, Super Rugby, also Singapore 7. So literally from about Friday morning to about Sunday evening, you can go wall to wall. So I can't wait.
Excellent. Well, the boys are lining up in the live chat. They're good to see. Chad was on fire last week. Henrik as well. I mean, I must say, Chris, the week before, you and Henrik were also both on the show, and you were also on fire. So we really have had a good run. And I realize how much I rely on you boys. I mean, if you boys are all form, I'm in big trouble because I'm just kind of firing onto your bets there. But welcome to the boys in the live chat. Look forward to a good show. I will be keeping a little eye on this leaderboard as well, the Masters leaderboard. Those are my highlighted players. Not looking too good for Thomas and Rose. But Corey Connors, he's sort of hanging in there for me at the moment. But I love US Masters weekend. And I got a nice promo from Bet Exchange. They contacted me and they said, no, if I deposit, they'll give me 50% matched deposit. So I love that before a major because then you stick a much bigger golf bet on at a much longer price than you normally would. And I've got some good money riding on some of these guys. Of course, a long way to go yet. Most of the chaps haven't even teed off yet in the first round. But guys, looking forward to the chat. And let's get started with Super Rugby as we usually do. Of course, that gets going on Friday morning, South African time. And the first game I'm going to chat about and conduct, I'll start with you, is the Highlanders against Moana Pacifica. And I'm using WSB's prices tonight, but as usual, you guys can look wherever you want and comment. And Highlanders minus 20.5.
Yeah, Brent, I've actually been lining this game up because obviously, Highlanders have yet to register a win on the board. I think it's about 5 straight losses so far for them. Moana Pacific have even managed to notch a W on the board. I think it was against the Canes. They managed to notch a W. So I was lining this game up. I really thought the Highlanders would obviously be chomping at the bit, or to play maybe a slightly, not to say the Pacific are a weaker side, maybe play a slightly weaker side. Because I think in the last 2 weeks they've faced the Blues and the Crusaders. They played the Blues twice, and then the Crusaders. And I can't remember who the fourth game was. I think it might have been the Chiefs. So they've had a rough schedule so far. So I think they'll be looking towards this game to finally try and get a win on the board. I was hoping for a better handicap than this. I was hoping for something in and around 13, 14. At 20.5, I'm still a Highlanders punter. I just and I'm actually more opposing Pacifica than backing Highlanders. Look, I think the Highlanders will be desperate for the win. Obviously, at Forsyth Bar, you try and reward their fans who've stayed loyal. I think the last time the Highlanders won was the last time I shaved, which was probably a couple of months ago. So they really need a win here. Pacifica, I just feel might be running on empty. They played 3 games in about 7 days recently, and then now again they play another 3 games in 7 days. So they play the Highlanders tomorrow. They play the Hurricanes, I think, on Tuesday, and I think they play the Chiefs again on Saturday. So really a horror run of fixtures for them. I just don't know if they're going to have the legs. I didn't think they played all that well against a second choice Blues side, but I do see Levi Moore back. Together with Danny Tuala and the centre partnership, it's solid. They've got guys like Tima Whanganuku, and experienced campaigners like Sukopa Kepu and Christian Lelofano. And Inari, he's been around the block enough times to know what's what. But like I said, I just think Highlanders will pull out all the stops here to win and win well. I just don't know if Pacifica, like I said, will have the legs. If you don't want to look at the 20.5, I like the over 55.5 as well. A Forsyth Bar, obviously perfect conditions. And I think both teams will want to play spectacle rugby. I have noticed a bit of uptick in points with the crowds being back. It looks like guys are playing a little bit more spectacle kind of rugby. And, for the fans, it looks like they're a bit more up for it. So I'd be up for the overs as well.
Yeah, I must say, Hendrik asking me for a call on the points. I haven't had a good look at this game, Hendrik, but I'd also be looking perhaps at Highlanders points over there as well. Let's go to Chris sitting there in Poland and see what he fancies on this one.
Yeah, it's always very difficult backing kind of the back of Brendan after perfect review like that. But I'm also skeptical, not so confident on the cap. Like at first look, the cap seems a bit high. But then, as you dig deeper, as Brendan has been explaining, it looks like this could be a desperate Highlanders performance versus a Wayland Pacifica team. Even though they're gonna throw the ball around. So yeah, I agree. If I was to be going on the cap, I would be on the plus, just because I do still worry how many points Highlanders will actually score, because they're the second worst attacking team in the comp, and they grind out victories, but they're not flashy like they're in previous Highlanders teams before. So that worries me on the points. Usually I would be all over points, but in saying that, in this case, I would rather play the points, the over 54, than be on the cap. So that would be my steer on this game. I think the caps, if it does, ball starts moving around, a late try or two can blow this cap either way. So not confident there, but rather if point times 54, that's the right place. If it was closer to 60, I would say no. But if it's around the mid 50s, taking points is the play.
Yeah, Hendrik Swart, I think Hendrik, you're summing up my feeling on this game a little bit. I don't feel it at all.
Yeah, well, that wasn't a confident punt at all by me either. So let's not get. I wouldn't get too invested in this game, to be honest. The Highlanders will win. Not sure how much. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let's stick with you, Chris, for the next game. Western Force -6.5 against the Rebels, Chad's favourite team there, and the Western Force here. Can they justify this favouritism at home?
Yeah, well, this is the first game that actually does stick out to me, which I'm quite fancy, and it's actually the Rebels for me. I know there's a lot of guys that like the Force this year. That game against the Brumbies was madness the other day. I think it was a freak show, a freak game. I don't think that will be happening again. I think we're going to go back and see a proper Australian derby again. But saying that, it looks like there's a lot more points in Australian derbies. I don't know if you guys are noticing that. I'm sure that's a trend. There's definitely been more points. But why I say Rebels? I just think Rebels are on the up. They are getting better, and I think when it comes down to it, for me, there's not much difference in these teams anyway on paper. So I expect the Force to win, but I don't think it's. Well, I had 7, but it's still -6. I wouldn't be taking Force -6. I quite like Rebels on the plus. I actually think Rebels can actually cause a little upset here. So it's quite strongly I fancy Rebels plus.
Well, the wager Warlock agreeing with you there, saying Rebels on the plus. And Conductor, I mean, we've had some heartbreak over the Rebels, but I think they did deliver us for the last time we backed them, but we've had some shockers on them. Are you going to be backing them again this week?
Yeah, I've got a very unhealthy relationship with the Rebels. It really is a masochistic relationship where I enjoy that hurt on a Friday morning. Just it's betting to watch. But I try to do the calculations this morning. If it was cheaper to bet on the Rebels Plus or go to my local dominatrix, Mistress Gerda in Pretoria East, at least with a ball gag in my mouth, I won't be able to scream out about Matt Tamua stuffing up again.
A lovely picture. Thanks very much for that, conductor.
How long do you spend thinking of these one-liners before the show? It must take days.
No, I'm all over the. You can get plus 7.5. I'm all over the Rebels Plus here. Rodda and Katu'u were in the Wallabies camp, so they're on the force bench. And like Chris says, I think there's been a slight improvements in the Rebels play the last couple of weeks. I think that's coincided with Andrew Killaway coming back. I really rate him as a rugby player. I think he's fantastic. I like that Rebels defense has been good. So I like the plus. And as Henrik has said, I think the point line's 46.5. I'd probably still look at unders there. I think Force are absolute possession merchants. They do tend to hang on to the ball and not do much with it. And we've seen the Rebels, they can often play a lot of rugby but score very little points. So this does scream unders as well. But my main pick here is the Rebels on the plus. And like Chris says, I think they can actually win this game.
Yeah. I actually also think there's also a little bit of revenge factor going on here. I think they're gonna come back for that big loss they took at home to the Force earlier in the season. So I think that's also gonna cheer them up.
Excellent. Just welcome to Shane from Ireland coming in, and he's saying, "I hope I watched the Masters advice video. Went for Cameron Smith. Unfortunately, I didn't. I've gone for a few guys. Have you got him? Yeah, I've gone for a few guys a bit further down. But Shane, I'll just mention this to you. There's an outside chance that I will be in Ireland later this year. My son's been selected for rugby tour to Ireland. So first of all, we just got to decide, are we going to fork the money out for him to go? Because sure, but it's a lot. And then, of course, if he goes, surely Dad has to go along to watch. So there's a chance that I might be having a drink with a few of our Irish mates. I might even get to go to a Leinster game with Mark and Dave Cooney or something along those lines. So looking forward to that. Hopefully it'll work out and we can hook up in the year. I'll keep you boys informed on that one. Let's stay with you, conductor. Hurricanes plus 8.5 against the Crusaders.
Brent. This is a tough one. Hey, Hurricanes did well last week to come back from, I think it was a 15-point deficit with about 14 to go to bring your lads' bets in there. So they absolutely came back nicely.
It wasn't as convincing. It wasn't as convincing as we were hoping. Hey, I felt a bit for Chad there because he was on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I thought the Chiefs were full value for that handicap. I think we were very fortunate to get up there.
So the Hurricanes did well to narrow their score line right at the end there. That Arda Severe tap and go. Yeah, he's just showing he's a man for the moment. This Hurricane side is not great, sure. TK Howden, Josh Morby from the Southern Stags. Geez, it's not and no Celeste Rayasi. I don't know how great this Hurricane side is against a Crusader side that could easily tuck them away past this handicap. I think the Crusaders won by 14 or 15 in Hamilton against the Chiefs, and there was a much better Chiefs side. But like we always worry, what Crusader side is going to rock up. They can be awful at times, they can be great at times. That Crusader side it's phenomenal. It's just packed, and like I said, that Hurricane side doesn't impress me at all. It's just especially a guy like Josh Morby at the back at 15. I don't know. Duplessis Karifi is a penalty machine. So I don't know. It's 8.5 is big in a away game in New Zealand. But kick off in the afternoon. It looks like perfect conditions in Wellington. If you don't like, I preferably myself do like the minus. I don't know how big I'm gonna go on it, but I'll probably take some minus. I'm going to be all over the points in Wellington. I'm hoping for something around 55, 56, because I really think with a guy like TJ Perinara, he just manages to, like that intercept try, he manages to get into these positions where he can influence the game. So So I think pointer is going to be fantastic. Hurricanes has traditionally not been great in defence. And like I said, I think with the crowds back, I think it's made a huge difference in terms of the way the players have been playing, and they just generally look more up for the games. So Sevu Reece, geez, I can see the guy getting a couple of meat pies there. So yeah, I think points, anything under 60 will see my money here.
It seems like most of the boys are going overs and all on the Crusaders. Yeah, Chris, yourself, I see quite a bit of nodding there.
As I said, usually when after the conductor's gone, there's nothing left much more for me to say. But absolutely, on those bases. So yeah, this is for me as an over is a 60-point game and above straight away. When the Canes, as we see in the Canes first team plays, when they make changes, they don't score points because they can't cross the line. But these guys can, but they also give away a lot of points. So it's often high-scoring games. And why I wouldn't touch the cap as well is what we just said with the Canes. I mean, the Blues, they came back, scored 3 tries against, I think even against Canterbury earlier on. Canterbury were 20 points ahead, and Canes came back again, would have cleared this cap. So don't even bother with Crusaders going ahead by 25 points or whatever, and then Canes they could score 8 tries again. But by then you crossing over the overs points line. So forget about the cap. You get, like I say, like Bandata says, anything under 60, you take in overs, and that's one of my confidence bets of the weekend as well.
Well, I can tell you with the unders taker, Henrik Swart says he likes the overs. Okay, we haven't seen a line yet, but he's looking at overs. Then you must know you've got to consider overs, because for Henrik to go overs, the planets really have to align. So I'll certainly be looking at overs there as well. Chris, we'll give you first crack at this one then. The Chiefs minus 1.5 against the Blues. I capped this actually Chiefs minus 4.5. So I find myself leaning towards the Chiefs. So I've got to say I've been bloody impressive so far this season to me.
Yeah, I think I said this on the show previously. I love this Chiefs side. I love their attitude, love their endeavor. They've played some great games. Last week again, obviously towards the end, the game was won, right? So, and obviously Blues, the heartbreak kids. I mean, if you want to back the Blues, go for it. But no, I'm on the Chiefs as well. Derby, Chief, it just screams Chiefs home win. Yeah, they'll probably beat the cap as well. I think that's quite a nice cap. But even if you want to take money line, that's a good bet. But we spoke. Some people, there are schools of thoughts of the overs and unders for New Zealand. But this is probably a game that will go unders probably, because it becomes quite a scrappy derby, this one. So I won't be looking at points. I would happily be back in the Chiefs. Yeah.
Just interesting, conductor. Before I get your opinion on the Chiefs game, I noticed. I think it was Sunbet didn't have betting up for the Hurricanes Crusaders game. Is there any concerns there about that game taking place or anything, or do you think they've just taken it down? Maybe they've laid a lot of one team and are just waiting to see what happens. There are no concerns,
Which game?
They don't have the Crusaders Chiefs game up. I was just looking at Sunbet now, and I noticed.
It's on Saturday.
The Hurricanes. Sorry, man, not the Chiefs. The Hurricanes Crusaders game. They don't have it up. There's no concerns there, I hope, eh?
No, not that I've heard of, eh? I mean, they normally some of the guys would come on Twitter saying there might be COVID in one of the camps. So nothing that I've heard so far. Look, it's very possible with the way the tournament has gone so far, hey, with a couple of the games cancelled. So anything's possible, but I don't think so.
Excellent. No, I'm hoping as well. And all the other bookies have got prices on that there as well. So let's talk about the Chiefs game now, conductor.
Yeah, Brent, this is one of my more confident players. I'm really confident on the Chiefs here. As Chris says, they've been a far better side this Super Rugby than previous seasons. Very impressed with the coach of Clayton McMillan. And guys, there's a couple of guys really sticking their hands up. I've been really impressed with Alex Nankivell. I think he's been playing fantastic rugby. I always thought Gus Sawakulu has been a bit of a passenger, but he's also sticking his hand up. He's making some amazing carries. He's been phenomenal. Saturo on the wing as well. And Nana Saturo, he's been fantastic. It's a bit of a toss-up. I don't know. I probably would have liked Joshuani there. He can bring that something magical and special. Brent Graham will be reliable, but that's what he's consistent. He's not going to produce the magic where I think Joshuani has that ability to be amazing or sometimes not so amazing, but when he's amazing, he's fantastic. So, for me, I'm Chiefs on the board in Hamilton, in front of the home crowd, going to be tough. Blues, for me, have had a very, very soft couple of past few weeks. They beat the last 5 games. They beat the Chiefs. They shouldn't have when Gatland missed that last-minute kick. They've played the Highlanders twice, and they've played the Pacifica twice. So to me, not the toughest of games. I think they can running up against a very good Chiefs side. Missing Caleb Clark due to that suspension. He's been one of their best ball carriers for them so far. Obviously they've got a great back row in terms of Robinson, so Tutu, and Dalton Papali'i. But Perfetta to me, he has been great. And I just worry about Bowden Barrett's confidence. He took a neck knock, not a head knock, but I think a neck knock. And you just got to wonder, how brave he's going to be in tackles, etc. So, and I actually wonder if it's even responsible for him to be playing with his concussion history. So, like I said, I'm all over the Chiefs. Yeah.
Right, all over the Chiefs. There's one game to go there in the Super Rugby Pacific, and we'll start with you there, conductor Fijian Drua. And did I see they're plus 15.5 against the Brumbies?
Yeah, Brent. Brumbies have rotated quite hectically. I mean, I think they've got I think besides for the 8th man, I think it's a new 5, 6, and 7 that they have. Obviously, Nick White coming in there. So I think Tom Wright's back at 15. So quite a changed side for the Brumbies. I don't know. This is a toughie, but I just feel that Drua also having a couple of new guys in there. I think there's 2 debutants in the 23 and a couple of new starters for them. If I pushed, I'm not really strong in this game, to be quite honest. Pushed, I'd probably take Brumbies in the minus, just purely because set piece wise, they're going to be far better. I feel that Drua are fantastic, coming off mistakes. I think this game is in Brisbane at Suncorp, but Drua fantastic coming off mistakes. But if there's no mistakes, they're going to battle. Where I think Brumbies line-out and scrum is going to be far better than Drua. So I'd probably take the minus here.
Right, Stephen Marks coming in on the live chat. Brumbies will cover despite the 10 changes. Chris, what are you going to do here? Is this a game that you fancy anything strong?
No, nothing strong yet, but I totally agree. If you just look at the styles of play, like again what conductor said, where the Drua have done well is when they're fed off scraps. And even this Brumbies team change, they won't do that, and they will dominate the set piece. So I think, and it was the Rebels that beat them quite well last week, if I'm not mistaken. And Brumbies are a much better team. If pushed to take the cap, the minus. But I won't, because the Drua have caused me a few little heartbreaks this season. So there's other games here that I can focus on. But if you're at a push on the minus as well.
Excellent. Well, that brings us to the end of Super Rugby. So, Tan, as I said, we've got Manscaped back as a sponsor. So let me just go to the read here. And, of course, we're talking about the Lawnmower 4.0. It's the one with the torch. And I'll actually look for it tonight. I'm not going to lie to you. I told you guys previously, my son took it, and he absolutely loves this thing. And he's got it locked away. He even was worried that my daughter might want to use it. And I think she just taunts him. But, I mean, he's absolutely loving this thing. And this is their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. Over 4 million men. Now, this is when I first got the read. It's probably closer to 5 million men who trust Manscaped now by taking advantage of their offers. And that offer is 20% off. GFTG, you can use that code at manscaped.com. But before I move on from that, I just got to ask you, conductor, you still using your Manscaped products, your deodorants and stuff?
Yeah, Brent, I'm fresh and clean and smelling of roses. Just it's all good smells at the moment. So I must admit, the one thing I'm so impressed with is the build quality. Like I said, I've been using it for a while now. It just feels like a quality product. And I must admit, what I'm so impressed with is the battery life of it. It's like I haven't had to charge mine yet. I haven't used it intensely. I've used it, obviously, but I haven't used it intensely. So it's not an everyday occurrence. So, luckily, the bushes don't grow as quickly as
Mark Dunphy's asking when are we going to get a demonstration?
No, we don't want a demonstration.
It's you can. It's on my OnlyFans. So if I can put a link up.
On my OnlyFans. Very well done. Well, anyway, please support Manscaped if you are looking for some product there. Use the code GFTG. Gentlemen, that's the end of the promo there. Let's move on to the URC, where, of course, we've only got 2 games this weekend. And, Chris, I'm going to give you first crack. It's the Stormers up against the Bulls. The Stormers here, minus 1.5. And while you're talking, I'm going to go have a look at what I handicapped this game at.
So you say me to start?
Yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, spot on handicap. But I think it should be the other way around. I think Bulls should be the slight favourites. Yeah, I think they got the favourite wrong. Yeah, just because yes, Stormers have been playing well, but they've been playing at home against I wouldn't say as good as opposition as the Bulls are going to be. And for me, the Bulls have been playing the same opposition and have been far more impressive. So for me, Bulls come to Cape Town favourites. They're better. They're still a better side. And for me, Stormers they're going to be up for it. It's the arch enemy. I'm a Stormers fan. Bulls are the enemy. They're always up for it. But I just think there's still enough ragged edges around the Stormers that they go missing, where the Bulls are more compact and just a better team. So I'm gonna not willingly, because I'm obviously going to be supporting the Stormers all the way, but I think the Bulls will take this, but a very, very tight game as well, within no more than 5 points either way. But I'd say Bulls by 3.
So this could be one for that Sunbet option, either team by 7 points or
yeah, perfect. Yeah,
place you'll probably get around about 5-4 on that. Stephen Mark saying Bulls will win this one, and I see conductor chuckling at Henrik's comment there about the dominatrix in the live chat. What do you think of this one, conductor?
I'm also, laughing at Henrik's comments. I'm also laughing at the comment below that about not wanting to tape with all that leather, and it's I think I don't know how he knows that. do you know? Maybe you and I should talk on the DMs. But no, I agree with Chris. I think I'm firmly behind the Bulls here. I think the Stormers have been playing fantastic rugby the last couple of weeks. We've really been impressed with the way they've been playing. Specifically, I think Dobson's been doing a good job there. I just think the difference is the previous game at Loftus, the Blue Bulls social media was sending out videos about the supporters going to the Bulls, and there was a bit of error. It was an error of arrogance about the Bulls the last time they played at Loftus. I think that's going to be completely out the window this game. I think the Bulls will come down to do massive amount of business in Cape Town this weekend. So yeah, I like the Bulls there. And I'd be interested in the points line. I see for both the Sharks and the Stormers game, it's national Northern Hemisphere referees. So Frank Murphy for the Stormers game, who can be unders. I think he was quite unders in terms of that. In terms of the Stormers Ospreys game, where I think it was the unders came in quite easily. So I think this is going to be a very tight attritional battle between the two. I don't see a lot of tries either, so I expect a lot of threes to be traded. But yeah, I'm on the Bulls here.
Yeah, it seems like quite a few on the Bulls, but there's also quite a bit of support for the Stormers here. I must say, personally, I'm in the Stormers camp here. I handicapped this game, Stormers minus 3.5. Like Henrik, I haven't been that impressed actually with the Bulls. Yes, altitude helped them, but I was quite disappointed with them, certainly in I think it was in the first half last week. And I actually think they're going to run into a bit of a problem here. I'm going for a Stormers victory, and I'll back the Stormers on the handicap. Henrik making the point there that the Dragons scored 3 tries against the Bulls there as the points flowed, just like they flowed on Wednesday night in the Curry Cup when I was on under 59.5 points, and that bloody Bulls Western Province game was too many points flowing for me. Let's go on to the next game, conductor, and we'll give you first crack. It's the last of the URC games. We got the Sharks minus 9.5 against the Lions. And conductor, I don't know about you, but the hardest thing for me is to separate the Lions, URC, and Curry Cup teams. Because, I mean, let's face it, the URC team has actually done bloody well at home of late. Yes. I think they've won 4 in a row. And the Curry Cup team, I mean, the scrum half looks like a prop. The prop looks like, I don't know what the prop looks like. But, I mean, they really look out of shape. They're absolutely terrible. They're getting hammered. But, of course, the Lions URC team's on a 4-match winning run.
Yeah, Brent, and I must admit, I've been impressed with them the past couple of weeks. I think Cash van Rooyen has managed to do something there. And they've been playing good rugby. Whereas the Sharks, I think, are the opposites. Yes, they gave the Dragons a bit of a pasting, I think last week. But other than that, they haven't been impressive at all. They battled against a bad Zebra side, lost against Edinburgh. And this week, missing a guy like Sabu Nkosi. I think they're desperately missing Lukanya Am, who's obviously in Japan for his stint. I mean, I looked at the team sheets and I'm leaning in the Lions here. I don't think I'll go big. It's very difficult to trust the Lions. But I just think the Lions team on paper looks far better. I've been impressed with Mona van den Berg. I like Jordan Hendrickse. I mean, I don't think the Sharks are going to bully the Lions in any position there. I'm on the. It's not a big game for me. I think there's 1,000 games this weekend, so I'll maybe take a small plus. Nothing too crazy here for me.
Yeah, quite a bit of varying opinions, I think, there in the live chat. Wager Warlock reckons the Lions will stay within the plus, and so does Henrik. Dino just mentioning that he's a little bit worried about that Lions backline defense. But yeah, I must say I'm leaning towards the Lions plus there as well. Have not been impressed by the Sharks at all so far this season. That brings us to the end of URC. And we've still got Heineken Champions. Did I ask you, Chris? I didn't ask your opinion. Sorry, Chris.
I'm not going to add much more. I'm in agreement. I think the Lions have showed more than enough that they can handle the Sharks team. The Sharks changes don't impress me. They still got Bosch at 10. Blows my mind. Lions are in this game. I think I saw Hendrick's comment. Lions can win this game. They've showed. I've quietly been impressed. They're not that impressed. They're not that team like a couple of years ago that would throw the ball around with reckless abandon and score 40 points and concede 40 points. They're grinders now. And the Sharks just that Sharks access 10, 12, 13 there's no creativity there. They don't get much impetus. Yeah, they put the Jaguars the Dragons. So yeah, +9. I actually more confident than probably conductors. I quite like. I thought it was actually 5. I kept it at 5, so I quite like it.
A quick look, where did I cap? I actually kept it at 9.5. So it's spot on where I kept the game. But yeah, I find myself leaning towards the Lions there as well. What did I jump across here? Khaleesi's back, and I know what Henrik will say. That's great for the Lions. I knew you were going to say that one there, Henrik. No doubt about it. Boys, let's move on to the Heineken Champions Cup. We got the last 16 fixtures taking place. And this first one's a biggie. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on Brendan when I get there. But I'm going to give Chris first crack at this one. Chris, Connacht +13.5 against Leinster.
No, so this is where respect your respect's due. Look, right, when Leinster puts this team out, they're one of the best provincial teams in the world. So there's no argument here. This is a Leinster. Connacht haven't been playing that well. They're not impressive. You just got to look at form, paper. This is Leinster's bread and butter, business time of the season, and they'll take care of business here. Leinster minus quite confidently, actually.
Right, let's go to the conductor there. Connacht on the board for you, conductor.
I actually thought there was going to be Connacht minus 13.5, so I can't believe I'm getting plus 13.5. No, I must admit, this Champions Cup is one of my favorite competitions because this is where the European guys don't rotate. This is where the cream rises to the top, and a team like Leinster, this is their bread and butter. This is where they come to play. This is what they strive for. Look, I mean that Leinster side is just scary. Josh van der Fleer, Conan. Just from 1 to 15 is just crazy.
The whole backline.
I mean, I probably would have preferred Ross Byrne over Johnny at 10, but nevertheless, when you can bring an international guy like Johnny Sexton into your side, you're not struggling. I mean, James Lowe, Henshaw, Ringrose, and one of the guys impressed me the most is Jimmy O'Brien. I think he's been playing fantastic rugby the last couple of weeks. When you got a guy like Luke McGrath, you can bring on Jameson Gibson Park on, it's just depth and it's just power all over the park. So, although we can say that, yes, the sports ground will be packed and, the fans will be actually buzzing. I think this is the first time Connacht have made the qualification for Champions Cup in 6 attempts. So they're going to absolutely, madder than a bunch of dogs in a meat house, at this opportunity to try and play a Champions Cup rugby. I just can't look past this Leinster side. So I managed to grab a bit of minus 11.5. I know that Connacht will come up. It's crazy, but eventually they'll wear down. I've also taken -6.5 second half handicap for Leinster. I know that obviously, like I said, they'll be pumped for that first half. I'm sure guys like Bundi Aki will be making his kamikaze runs into midfield, etc. But I think you can't break against that Leinster defense the entire time. So yeah, I'm all over Leinster here. That side is, like I said, it's not far off from a full international Irish side.
Well, there's only one. We'll have to hear what Henrik says about that, because I know Henrik is often opposed Leinster, but we've certainly got a couple of converts here into the Leinster camp. But I love Leinster as well. I think they're going to be too strong.
Yeah, but I just see which is always the potential issue is the weather, and I see Mark Dunphy's just confirmed that it's as usual wind and rain, and that's going to be the only neutralizer. If Connacht are coming close, it's because they can't play. Leinster can't play, so probably just watch out for that.
And guys, just confirming, Chris, this is our first leg, eh? So they go. Do they go next week and play then at Leinster as well? And it's
so. I mean, this is a nice thing. It creates a whole lot of different dynamics. Is that, and I think we'll get into it in the later games. Is that I don't think specifically this game, but I think in other games, the home and away leg does create a situation where if you're playing away, you may not necessarily need to win the game, but just keep it close enough, because in the second leg you'll pretty much should walk it. It's an interesting dynamic. So, I don't think it really has much bearing in this game, because even if Connacht somehow manage to keep it close at the Viva, I can't see them keeping it close all next week. So, I think this is a full-gone result.
Right, let's go on to the next game. The Sale Sharks up against the Bristol Bears. Here we got the Sharks, Brendan, a -5.5.
Yeah, Brent, I managed to get a bit of -4.5 a bit earlier, and I'm all over Sale Sharks here. I think AJ McGinty is injured, so it probably means that the lesser known Robert Dupree, or lesser light Robert Dupree at 10 is going to take effect. But for me, look, Bristol Bears do have an amazing backline. Charles Pietau, probably Piers Francis at 12, Randrandra 13. Callum Sheedy, but it's not where the game is won. It's that engine room that they are lacking. I know Stephen Luatua might be back for them, but this Sale Shark side is going to have too much in the pack for them at home. And specifically, even when you've got a guy like Manu Taulagi, he's probably going to start in the senses. To me, it's going to be a long night for the Bristol Bears. I just don't think they've got the guns to keep up with the Sale Sharks here. Like I said, from 1 to 8. Bears, the guys like Fritz Harding have been playing well of late, but there's nothing there that's really going to, scare guys like Luke Yaga, the Dupree brothers, and Curry and Co, etc. I'm fully on the Sharks minus here.
Well, you got 4.5. I've got 5.5 here. I bought up, but I see it's even gone out to 6.5 in places. So I think that is definitely where the money's going, and we wonder if some of that money's not in Polish currency. Chris, have you got anything down on this one?
To be honest, no, Brent. This is not a game that's scaring out of confidence. I've had joy with Bristol this season. I've picked them at the right moments. So I agree that Sale are the favourites. Probably for me, the cap is actually perfect. But don't be surprised, because Bristol can win the game, and they haven't obviously proved it this season. But if they come out and fire, Sale can go missing sometimes. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. So that's my prediction how I think the game's going to go. But I'm not laying down the dollars on it though. I think Bristol are in this game.
Right. Well, we'll move on to the next game then, Chris, and stick with you. Bordeaux -3.5 against La Rochelle, all French affair.
Yeah, I love these big game French games. I've been following them quite closely this season. So last week, I don't know if you guys saw, La Rochelle won 1 point and O'Gara kicked off like a proper maniac. So interesting undercurrent there as well going into this game. I'm looking forward to it. You got these games. When the top 6 sides play each other, you can never really look past them the home win, even though La Rochelle went away last week. But I think Bordeaux, they should have won, and I think they're going to win it this time. I don't know about the cap though, because this can be a 1-2 point game. But I would say Bordeaux on the board or Bordeaux 1-12 is a beat bet, because I don't think they'll lose. But I would stay away from the cap, because it can be a 1-2 point game. But Bordeaux to win, I will probably be having a few dollars on Bordeaux 1-12. Yeah.
Right, Brendan, yourself on this one?
Yeah, Brent. La Rochelle 101 at Bordeaux this past weekend. So I mean, in a way, when in French rugby so rare, a second away win against the same team in French rugby is probably rarer than hen's teeth. So I'm all over Bordeaux. Yeah, I'll take the -3.5. I think La Rochelle will keep it close-ish. But like Stephen Marks has come on, Ronan O'Gara is suspended because Christoph Urios almost Will Smithed him on the touchline there. It almost came to fisticuffs. So so O'Gara's gone. Jefferson Poirot and Kane Douglas back for Bordeaux, which is two key players for me. Still missing a guy like Matthew Jalibert. Francois Trenduc he's not bad, but he's no Matthew Jalibert. I always feel as their talisman. But like I say, this is a specific game where I think La Rochelle won't mind losing by 5 or 6 points. They'll think they could probably make that back in the return league. This is a tricky fixture in the sense that Bordeaux sitting second in top 14, La Rochelle sitting third. Right. At what points does other team rather focus on the top 14 here? I've chatted to a couple of the French guys, Brady82 on Twitter. He feels this is going to be a huge unders game. So if we look at maybe this, as Chris was saying, it's going to be very tight affair. If we get a nice maybe points on 47, hopefully 48, I think definitely an unders play as well on this game.
Absolutely agree, Brendan. I was about to say this is a 40, not more than 40 points probably in this game. Tight game, no more than 40. So if you get 47, unders is also just the play as well.
Right, let's move on to the next game, and it's Toulouse up against Ulster. Of course, they've had to travel back from South Africa. -11.5 on the French team, Brendan.
Yeah, Brent, I'm on the. I expect a big Toulouse performance here. There's a hell of a lot of class there, but obviously that 9-10 combo, probably the best in the world at the moment with Antoine Dupont and Intermuck. Maxime Madar, I believe, probably might start at 15. But and their pack is solid. Ulster have had a couple of rough weeks, obviously playing in Cape Town, then to Loftus, and now into Toulouse to try and beat, who I'd probably say is one of the top teams in Europe at the moment. Look, I'm a big Ulster fan, but I think this might be it's not a small cap for Champions Cup, but I think this might be a step too far for Ulster in the first leg. I like Toulouse to try and make a statement here and cover the cap.
Chris, what do you think of this one? 11.5 does seem big, but Toulouse would like to wrap this up in the first leg, wouldn't they? Yeah,
no, I agree. But this is, if it was a different spot, I would be liking Ulster because I have been really impressed with Ulster. But because they are a little bit depleted, they've just done the South African tour, all of that, putting that all together, it feels like a bit of a game too far. But if it was an earlier season game when full strength and fresh, Ulster were gritty enough to give Toulouse a really good game. But I would say not one that I'm going to put a lot of money if I do. But you have to be looking at Toulouse minus if you're going to play that cap.
Let's move on to the next game, man. It's the Exeter Chiefs against Munster, and here we got the Chiefs -4.5.
I just straight off the bat, I really like Exeter. Yeah, I mean Exeter have been a bogey team for me this season as well. Jeez, back them at home, they muck it up. They're just not that Exeter team that when they get into the 22, they just used. It was 9 out of 10 times they scored a try, and you just seeing them just actually hack it. And at the moment, they're not finishing well. But in saying that, for me, they are a superior side than Exeter. They are at home. This is like like the Saracens and the Leinsters of the world. This is where Exeter do. You would expect them to step up now. So again, like Ulster, they've been traveling, got some injuries. So this cap actually looks really low. This could be one of the stronger players actually, because I would be capping this closer to 10 with the more and more I looked at it today. So quite strong on the Exeter minus, yeah.
Well, it seems the boys in the live chat are agreeing with you. Munster also got a few injury problems. Conductor, you coming in there with Chris?
Yeah, Brent, fully in agreement. I'm all over the Chiefs. I managed to get Chiefs 7-10 a while back, and I'm fully on the cap here. Yeah, I mean Munster missing Coombs, Kilcoyne, Conway, and Tad Byrne, who are 4 bigger missions for them. Yeah, she's going away to Stanley Park, which is not the easiest place of places to go and play. Guys like Sam Simmons, Dave Ewers. I think it's gonna be a long day for Munster there. And like I said, Munster has not impressed me the past couple of weeks. It just seems like the Jan van Kraan era is ending off with a fizzle instead of a bang. It just seems to be dying out. I believe there's a lot of discontent among some fans regarding the way Van Kraan has conducted himself for the past couple of weeks, etc. So yeah, I love Exeter. Yeah, this is what they're born and bred for. Big boys running at Munster, and like I said, missing key players. I just can't see Munster staying within this cap.
Right, well, this is definitely one that could be contending for newsletter best bets. And if you haven't subscribed yet, there's a free newsletter we send out on a Friday, and go through good runs and bad, I can tell you. But at the moment, we're not doing too badly. And the link down below the show. Let's stick with you, Conductor, for the next game at Stade Francais, +5.5 against Racing.
Yeah, Brent, when I mentioned earlier regarding, just top European teams, obviously like your Leinsters, like your Toulouses, this Racing is in that category that, they consider themselves one of the best clubs in Europe. Perhaps they haven't shown that in the past couple of years consistently, but this is what they'll be aiming for. Stade Francais do have a couple of injuries. More than a couple of injuries, they're missing quite a few players. These two teams played each other last Sunday, and Racing put them to bed quite easily. I expect them to do it the same this week, even though it's always treacherous taking a minus on a French team away. I never like doing it, but I do like Racing on the minus. A guy like Teddy Thomas, if he's playing, he's just so phenomenal in the way he's playing at the moment. So all over Racing minus. I just think Stade Francais, combined with injuries, they are looking over their shoulder at where they're sitting in the top 14 log. They're not sitting pretty, they're hovering above that relegation zone. So I think they've got bigger fish to fry than trying to overcommit themselves to Racing. So, you can have you can take happiness insurance. I'll take the -5.5. And even if that doesn't come in, if Stade Francais, obviously cover that, I will load Racing next week in any event. So you're going to win one of these games. I think Racing will smoke them next week if this is close in Paris.
Right, Chris, your views on this one?
Yeah, so I totally agree. You can't you have to be taking the minus, but there's enough other games here that has my interest, and I'll let this game play itself out, and next week I'll be on Racing. I won't even bother with it this week because there's other opportunities for me this week, just in case there's a French banana skin. But pick -5.
Oh, well, I see the boys in the live chat there, Mark and the Wager Warlock, also agree that Racing can do the business there. Does that take us to our second last game, our penultimate game? Chris, we'll start with you. Montpellier, -4.5 against Harlequins.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, the boys are back at Quins, and look at them last week. I mean,
that delivered the acca for us last week.
When that team's full strength, when they have their combos there together, it's meant for chalk and cheese. They're meant for the boys. They're a totally different team. But in saying that, Montpellier, they're having a good season. They're top of the French log. So and also Quinn's European pedigree, for me, still needs to be answered. So I need to go see them first, go to Montpellier and perform, because just on paper, this is their cap. I mean, definitely. But I'm not going to bet on it. So I'm going to be watching with intrigue. And I'll probably be more involved when they come back for the home leg.
Yeah, I've got a feeling Montpellier are going to win this, and they're going to be very firm favourites to go through to the next round. And I've got a feeling next week we're going to see Harlequins absolutely turn it on and sort of come back from nowhere, and something like that. Well,
Agreed. Yeah.
Conductor, what are your thoughts on this one? Is it one you're staying out of, or you're getting on one of the sides here?
Yeah, Brent, I quite like Montpellier here. There's some decent talents in Montpellier's side. Dumaru in the centre, Rate is one of my favourite wingers. I love that combo of Reinach and Garbisi, 9-10. Mercer, the ex-Bath player, he's very solid at 8. Van Rensburg at 7. So there's more than enough steel in this. And obviously, Big Paul Willems at lock. So there's more than enough steel in this Montpellier side. But Quins, as we say, every week you write them off at your own peril. I'll probably look at a small minus, but I'm champing at the bit for the points line. After lunchtime kickoff in France, I think this is going to be points galore. So if we can look at 52, 53, 54, I'm going to be all over overs here. I just think there'll be plenty points here. And similar to what I said earlier, I think that, Harlequins, if they lose by 6, 7, 8, it's not the end of the world. They'll back themselves easily to make that up in the second leg. And the other thing is if Montpellier decide that they're not going to contest the second leg, they might send us a very weakened team. So it all depends on what Montpellier might do. They might not send a competitive team next week to England. So I think all Harlequins need to do is stick around and not get blown off the park. But like I said, I'll be all over the points. I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, who was it? Was it who did they play in? Was it the lower competition? They came to England and they weren't having a good season, but they came and turned them over. Was it Bristol or someone? That's another reason Montpellier are sneaky buggers. I think it might have been Bristol or Exeter. They came in and won. So they just at home. You don't want to be going too much against them. Yeah.
Right. Let's get on to the final game there, Brendan, and we'll start with you. Clermont against the Leicester Tigers, -2.5, the French team.
Yeah, Brent, this is a tough one. Clermont used to be the stud. Marcel Michelin used to be the absolute fortress in Europe. You just didn't win there. But I just looked at this Clermont team, and it's really long in the tooth. Guys like Morgan Parra, Camille Lopez, even Raka, who I used to love. He's just getting long. I mean, there's just no freshness in that Clermont side. No Damien Poineau for Clermont is a big loss for them. And I think this Leicester Tigers side with that pack of theirs could do the business here. So, not a massively confident pick. I've seen you can maybe get +3.5. I'd probably take Tigers +3.5 here. That rolling maul is going to be tough for them to stop for Clermont. Like I said, under Borthwick, this Tigers team seems a team transformed. So I'm happy to take the plus here.
Right, Chris, yourself on the final game. By the way, it's not going to be the final game we talk about. We'll touch on the Ladies Six Nations. Reaches us. I don't know how much opinion you got on it, but we'll whiz through that.
Again, so Leicester, like Quins, when they have their players back, they're a whole different gravy. And they've been phenomenally good. So I would be not surprised at all they go to Clermont to win. But I'll be honest, how this weekend's gone, I've already got 6 games here that's got all my attention. There's a trend here. We've got these English teams going to France, first leg of a game. They're going to be fired up. Leave these away games in France alone this weekend would be my advice. Wait for the return legs and we can get all over it. See how the games have gone this week. See what the permutations are. And I reckon these games you leave out this week, we'll capitalize next week. So that will be my strategy this weekend. But if you want a prediction, Leicester definitely good enough to go there and take the win.
I think something else you'll be doing on the weekend is sitting up late on Sunday night, because I see Cameron Smith. Is he -6 now?
I'm loving it. I've got my eye there. This is like our weekend setup, lovely, because I've got a good chunk.
I don't want him ending the tournament on day one and making the rest run for second place. But anyway,
decent chunk at 18-1. So carry on, Cammy boy. Love the guy.
Nice. Boys, a quick one. Reese just asked, I don't know what your opinions are on this, but he's just listed the Women's Six Nations handicap. So England -40, Scotland +40. We've got some big caps. And Ireland -1 against Italy. Conductor, I know you follow pretty much all rugby. You got any views on this?
Brent, yeah, I had a quick squiz. The only one that really stands out to me is Ireland against Italy. I see they're playing at Musgrave Park, I think on Sunday. Ireland, both teams haven't started the tournament well. I think both have recorded 2 losses in the first 2 games, but Italy got absolutely spanked by France last week. Where Ireland have kept the results far closer in their 2 losses. What's been fantastic for the sport is I think if I follow, I haven't been watching unfortunately, but I follow on Twitter. The crowd attendances have been incredible. I think you're getting 30,000 people in for the games, which is fantastic. The last 6 Nations I watched the ladies. The vibe is fantastic. So I really expect a big crowd there in Ireland for this 6 Nations game. And I'm all over Ireland on the board at 85 to 100 or 8.5 to 10. I love that price. If you look at the past results, Ireland have got a very good record against Italy. So, like I said, I've taken as much as I can of that. Of the other 2, I'm not too sure. I just don't know too much in depth to have an informed opinion when the cap is so big.
Right, Chris. Anything for you and the ladies?
Unfortunately, not Brent. No, I mean, I follow it, check it out, but absolutely no views on it. No, don't bet on it. Yeah.
Well, that does bring us then, just before we touch on the best bets, I know there's also Sevens rugby this weekend. When does that get going, Conductor?
Saturday morning, 4 o'clock.
Saturday morning. Okay, so keep an eye on Twitter, and I'm sure we'll have a good for the game forward.
There's also the Challenge Cup. I haven't looked at a lot of it, but tomorrow night Edinburgh play POW, and that's got points screaming all over it. POW are a massive team that give away points. Edinburgh at home on that pitch. Also, they've made a few changes, but they've still got some decent players there. So I quite like points there, but I don't. The rest of the games I haven't looked at, but I'll be getting involved in that game points there.
Looking out for points in that one. Well, Chris, we'll start with you then. What are your best bets of the weekend?
Yeah, as I said, there's quite a few, but the 3 that stick out the most to me will be Exeter -4. I really like Lions at 9. I think that's far too high for this game. I think Lions are going to give them a really good game. And the Canes and Crusaders, they're going to be points. Obviously, the Lions not up, but if you've got 57, even 58 overs there, I really believe it's going to be over 60 points, 65 points in this game. Those are my top 3. And then my next 2 would be Force +7, and then Bulls, Stormers within 7. And as I say, Edinburgh, if I can get around 30 Edinburgh points, I'll be over on Edinburgh points. So if it's around 50, on the overs totals.
Excellent. I'll look out for that one as well. I also enjoy Edinburgh points bets as well. Conductor, what are your best ones?
Yeah, Brent, just to touch on the Challenge Cup, I like that Edinburgh game. Often when the French teams, it's not a bad power team, but often they don't bring much fight, and it's quite a strong Edinburgh side. So I expect Edinburgh to run it from all spaces after their poor performance against the Lions. And I'm hoping for I'm hoping for anything under 20 for the Saracens versus Brive cap. It is away in Brive, but it is a strong Saracen side there. But onto best bets in Super Rugby, I very much like the Chiefs, and like Chris says, if we can get a reasonable point sign for Hurricanes Crusaders, I'd tuck into that. In Champions Cup, Exeter, I'm all over Exeter like a cheap rash on the board on the minus. And what I'll be going in hugely is Exeter and Bordeaux in a multi. It probably gives you 13, 14 to 10, maybe 15 to 10 if you look at the right bookies. I can't see either of those losing. That's a fantastic bet in my opinion. I'm just trying to think, and I think that's pretty much it. And I agree with Chris on the Lions. Like I said, it's just tough to trust them after all these past year or 2 of disappointing results, and they've been a bit of a poor. But that cap is far too high in Durban, and they're really flying high with a lot of confidence at the moment.
The more I don't trust the Sharks, to be honest.
that's a fair comment. So but like I said, Chiefs points in the Canes game. Exeter and Bordeaux, love it.
Just one thing about that cheap rash is it's the type you can get on a Friday morning in Pretoria East.
Pretoria North, Brent.
Pretoria North. Just checking. Excellent, guys.
It's usually from a Bulls fan rubbing your face on the tarmac when you're wearing a Stormers shirt. So that's why you don't walk into that part of the country with anything but a Bulls shirts on.
No, that's for sure. Gents, thanks very much. As Hendrik said, it was a great show. Great to get your input. Look forward to a good weekend of punting. I'll be watching a bit of schoolboy rugby as well, and definitely focusing on the golf. I'm not going out this weekend. Friday, Saturday night, I'm staying home to watching the golf. And I can't wait to watch a couple of my players chasing old Cameron Smith down and overhauling him on the back nine on Sunday. But guys, thanks a lot to all the boys on the live chat. Thanks as well. And Chris, to yourself, have a good one, man. Enjoy the golf. For your sake, I hope Cameron keeps going strong.
We'll chat over the weekend. Have a great one, guys. Of course.
Excellent. Thanks, conductor. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, lads. All the best,
Cheers,
guys.